Hey everybody, I am Syntyche, but you could call me Tye. And welcome to A Conversation with Tye. Now for those of you who know me, you know I like to talk, right? So welcome. How y'all doing? What's going on? What's happening? It has been a while. Quarantine has caused us to be distant. This is the very first episode of A Conversation with Tye. And I decided to have this mini series because there are a few topics that I wanted a little clarification on. So I invited a few friends so we could talk. We're learning and we're growing together. So I got my tea and I have an amazing guest that you'll see very shortly. And I'm super excited. I hope you're excited as I am. And let's get into it. A Conversation with Tye. Welcome again. This is my best friend Tafa. Turned sister. And she is an actress, director, entrepreneur, owner of this fabulous building we're in right now, but I'll come to that later. And we're gonna have a conversation. So yeah, you ready?
Yes, we're excited.
Excited.
And I put on the wine so no casualties.
So Taffy, how you feeling? Really, based on what's happening, what's been happening in the world. We are presently going through a pandemic that I don't think either of us have experienced in our life. Where we've all had to stay home. Like the world has literally shut down. We are forced to be on pause. And I know that has done something to the mind of a lot of people, as well as we know what's happening in America. How are you feeling?
I think tense would be the best word to put it, because you kind of don't know what else can happen, and you don't know what way in which you would organically kind of respond, because there's a way sometimes we want to control our responses when you know what to expect, or when you don't expect. You really get to see, your most honest responses and actions. And for me, you're very tense, a bit maybe angered, because what has happened in America, it has incited this Facebook war, in the sense of the way people use Facebook now to bully people, using it as a form of oppression. I mean, there's positives, but I'm just telling you how I have felt. So I kind of had to pull away from social media, because I find it being kind of counterproductive in a time when we use it to connect, because we can't be with each other. And now you're seeing how people using it to kind of bully, and so I guess I got a little bit tense.
I don't know. I've never been somebody to really be very anxious about things, but I found myself becoming anxious during quarantine, probably midway in. It was like the worst feeling, because I really never experienced an anxiety attack before.
You had one?
Yeah, I guess that's what it was. I was cool, and I was talking to some of the friends, and we were talking about work. And a lot of people are out of jobs right now. We're talking about work and contracts ending, and what you're going to do with money. And those things don't usually affect me. But for some reason, I guess, I just started to think about it a lot. And then I was constantly hearing, I was like in tune with everything that was happening. Instagram, on the news, listening to all the media updates, on television. It was a lot. And I realized it started to get to me. It really, really started to get to me. So I just sat there, and my mind was just racing, just going. And I had my yoga mat out. And I went and I lied down on it. and I don't know, just like I feel like my chest was kind of like tightening, and mine was racing. And I don't know. It was just, it was the worst experience. It was the worst experience. So now I understand. I have a deeper understanding of what people speak about when they talk about anxiety. It's really not a nice feeling. So yeah. How y'all doing? Do whatever you need to do for you. You are not me. You're not tougher. You're not your family or friends. You have to cope with yourself in the best way you see fit. So just remember that you have to do what's best for you.
And you don't have to be ashamed about, talking, like you saying that. It's very, very brave, because a lot of times people, if you say that you've experienced anxiety, it's almost as if you are admitting to why they should go all sin dance for you. That kind of way. No, for real, people feel there's a stigma, there's a shame, when you said that, it reminded me that during the quarantine, I have been, because I've experienced anxiety with a lot of different things, and till they kind of walk kind of way, and, things like therapy, things like routine help you. And I have been so peaceful for the quarantine. It has been a very peaceful felt time for me, the beginning. Right up until in late April, when my mentor died. Then is when it was very interesting, because I went from being so peaceful and, because I dealt with trauma. When I left my job, we used to work together. When I left that job in 2016, I guess that was a kind of shock, going into being a full-time entrepreneur. So some of the things people would have been experiencing when the quarantine started, which is not the same salary, these things, things I had gone through, so I wasn't that traumatized, and my body was kind of more prepared for it. But when it is, he died, dealing with grief in quarantine, that brought a lot of anxiety for me, because I wouldn't have been able to speak to him again. It was really, really, and I had to do a bit of grief counseling because we already done in a pandemic, and you can't reach out to your friends in that physical way. So, as you said before, people shouldn't be ashamed, because there are people who, even with the COVID-19, who would have lost their lives even abroad, and we weren't able to connect with them. So I think we need to normalize the conversation of, this is how I feel, how are you feeling? This is how I am feeling, and it's not good, it's not okay, it's not normal. I feel tense, I feel anger, I feel, peaceful. Let's normalize the conversation, as opposed to making people, we had to say, oh, how you going, you're good. And we just expect people to say good, so you don't have to ask no more. You never realize, they say, how you going, you understand, long time, and then what is happening? We just end up going on top of them, you're poor, right?
Oh, Lord.
You lost weight?
Stop, don't, especially now, please don't talk about people's weight. I beg.
Facts.
Don't.
Facts.
Putting on weight or even getting smaller, because you don't know what people are going through. You don't. So be mindful.
It's hard to keep a healthy routine in the quarantine, because it's times you want to binge watch a show and eat those wafers. Wafers, gang.
We have been eating a lot of wafers.
Yeah, she's been eating the lemon wafers. I did.
Lemon, chocolate, strawberry. But anyways, yeah. So how easy do you think it is for someone to be the change that they or their family may need growing up in an environment that is not necessarily conducive to learning? They don't have a role model and very little schooling. Do you think it's easy at all?
I think it is very challenging, arduous, but not impossible. Easy. I don't think we need to measure it. If it's easy, hard. It is what it is. A process, and it's unfortunate, but I think that it is not impossible. And where there is will, and not only will, because something is very, very difficult in terms of traditions. What is your family traditions, resources, and especially a lot of times sometimes we marginalize people for simple things, because if you're from a specific area, you expect that school to be good. So I think it's a challenge, because I have gone through that as well, in terms of what school you come from. And even when I tell people that I went to private school as a primary school, they mean, you went to private school? And then you went comprehensive? And then because I switched from the Creole vernacular to the standard English back and forth, because I am a Trinidadian and I am from the Caribbean, and I'm very proud of our dialect. But people judge you for that, so things like that. So I could see how it can be very challenging for you to, in terms of even your identity, being this is where you grew up and this is what you know, and it could be surrounded by maybe criminal elements, different things, and being able to rise above it. I think it takes a will, but we need to have more opportunities. We need to have more opportunities for guidance, and not only teachers and things, but in terms of community outreach, mentors, because you know that people know what families are going through.
Yeah, definitely.
And we do a lot of bad talking. Them and our family, not me, and but how much outreach and engaging we are doing.
I mean, I see it so very often. Like I've seen it with some family members. I've also seen it with like neighbors, in which children grow up in a certain environment that every day you're hearing some cussing, every day is some kind of fighting. You don't go to school every day, and it doesn't seem, and it's something that is annoying, to be honest. It doesn't seem like they want to do better. It doesn't seem like they want to really change. And so this is kind of the reason why I ask any question, because I'm like, if you know that you hated this for yourself, why not try to come out? But I also know and I realize that is way easier said than done.
Yeah.
It's a mindset. Like you've already grown up. This is what you know. And it's never easy for somebody to just break that without help.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, there are the few, thank God for them, that are able to do it maybe on their own, very little help. But not everybody. Not everybody can do it on their own, and they need help. So just as you said, like community outreach, neighbors, anybody who can help.
How do we educate? How do we enrich the communities around us? And it's not just the teachers. I keep saying that because a lot of the times it's like in school and teachers have to do that, but it is difficult. Because the teachers can't, and there's so much people in a class to be able to give that individual attention. So I always say that we have to, the parents are part of the awareness you have to bring.
I believe in the community.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because even if
it's a community, it takes a community to raise a child. I believe. I really genuinely believe that. When we were younger, I don't hear much anymore, to be honest. I don't hear people speaking about, it takes a village to raise a child. Nah. I don't hear people speaking about that.
Really in theory, but from the time you say, I see John was on the road. You see John on the road, mind your business then. Mind your business. John is your son, that's why you ain't have no children.
Exactly.
That's what they were saying.
Exactly.
That
is what we've come to.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and we're talking like we, but that's alright.
Yeah, but still, it's 90s children, but yeah, in the air, the 90s children, it still had that element of, if my grandmother, I get licks from my grandmother or something, and I'll go on to my mother will go in and go and say, Granny, and not only licks her, because that is another conversation about the way we, that we always think, and some of these things was really abuse, and we joke about it like, and it's neither one greater and it's better fit, but sometimes the psychological play, so much of relationship, I want to say this, people are emotionally unavailable, right? And a lot of these things coping mechanisms from things that were unhealthy in our family relationships, but we pass it off like, you didn't know, that's why it's being type of licks or abuse, not saying it's just licks, but the type of, when you're making fun and you're saying, God, and that child, like he retarded. You understand what I mean? He's retarded because he's not able to understand math like his brother or sister, but he's excellent in art. He's probably excellent in art, and he could be good in math if you would use artistic techniques.
Oh my God.
To help him understand the maths.
Listen.
Because people have different learning styles, but we can echo things that were traumatic to people, like saying these things. He the retarded one, that one is the bright one, and I read that in a book, The Golden Child, which is what's the name of the lady? You put the thing, yes? The lady who read the Golden Channel, and that was one of the conversations. She's a Trinidadian writer. And that was one of the conversations, and it just goes to show now, like what you're saying, that yes, it is possible, but it's very, very difficult based on the trauma you might have had, the type of experiences. So we need to have the community, as you say, need to surround that person. It must have opportunities for that person to be able to heal and figure out and understand what may be better for them. If you don't have that Syntyche, you cannot, I honestly say you cannot come out of a situation if you do not have an awareness of what and how to come out of it. It just doesn't happen.
It could never happen.
Yeah, it can't happen.
And a lot of parents, I want to speak to the parents because I feel as though you said something there that you made a very pertinent point. Parents, stop comparing your children, please. You don't even understand the kind of psychological impact that has on your child. I'm not saying to allow your children to, get away with anything that they want to.
Yeah, run amok.
I'm not saying that. But words are very, 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 very powerful. And what you speak into your child is what will be a fruit. I believe that wholeheartedly. Right? So, okay, yeah, your child may not be doing as well as you would like them to, in school, or you're paying so much money to send them to extracurricular activities and you find the feeling. Those are things we know, as children. You've been a child, you know how it goes, right? But how you interact with your child, you made a very good point as well. You have to be emotionally available, psychologically available to your child and your child's needs, because every child is different, and you know that. I don't have to tell you that, and don't allow what has happened to you in your childhood, negatively happened to you in your childhood, to now be brought to your child, because you would think that because you didn't like what happened to you back then, you would definitely not want to you don't want to repeat all the mistakes that were made by your parents with you. But it happens naturally.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
It's a cycle. Those generational curses needs to be broken. It's a cycle, and you don't even realize that you're doing it.
Yeah.
So when your child tells you or doesn't tell you, because some people don't like to speak, as you know, some children may just act out, and you may wonder why, but it might just be because they can't reach you.
Yep.
And they want you, and they need you.
Or it mightn't be you. It might be, you might not be the one to reach them. It might be somebody else, because somebody else might have a personality that might be closer to them. I sometimes I hear, like, even with my siblings, when I was small, when I was 12, it was so difficult. I used to cry all the time and tell my mother, I was like, oh, they have favorites, and all three of them, all they born in the same month, October. People who believe in horoscope. I'm a Christian, yes, but I find it very similar because they don't show emotions. They barely ever show emotions. They don't cry. You can hardly ever see. It have to be one funeral, maybe my grandmother or something. They don't really cry. They don't really talk about their feelings. Different to me. I speak openly about how I feel, honestly about how I feel. I cry, weeping, all these different things. And I was always the different one. And I felt bad, and even I think one of my siblings didn't know how to respond to me, and then you would always it felt as if you were being judged for being yourself. And I guess coming away from it, like moving away from them and interacting with different people, you realize, well, hey, but you're not crazy, you're not this, and then some people would tell you, you're loud. I was loud when I was small, I'm still loud now, but they'll be like, you're so loud as a child, and so what? And so what? This whole notion about ladies must be seen and not heard is something I hate. You understand what I mean?
Why
Because you don't ever say men supposed to be seen and not heard. Ladies are supposed to be seen and not heard is because you think that they are physical, a visual stimuli for a man or for somebody to be put there. They're supposed to be great. This would be a nice little Barbie, graceful. But no, we have our thoughts, we have our mindsets, we have our action plans.
And every child is different.
Yeah, and every child is different. And I think we have to start parenting. I see people putting up this a lot. Parenting people not from your experience. because this is 2020 and there's things like technology now. They know, my nephew and them know so much more than me with how to use the computer and all these different things. And you can't be stuck in that time. And my mother, she always says this. I mean, my mother's greatest thing, I mean, she did some stuff that I didn't always agree with. But one thing I agreed with is that she believed in going back and remembering how you were when you were a teenager. Yes, you might want to have a boyfriend, you might want to flirt, or you understand what I mean? As opposed to being a parent. No, don't talk to nobody. This is, and then after you're going in the back in the bush, and then when something happens now, you never talk to your parents about sex, talk about it. So you understand what I mean? And you're hurting yourself, you ended up in the hospital, all these different things, as opposed to being open. And I think with my mother, I was always able to have open conversations about things I should be able to explain. One time, and I'll do some kind of madness, and I never knew my mother search my bags. And this is something I tip for parents, eh? She never let me know that she just search your bag, which is cool. Because sometimes parents will say, and I say, mother, and I could search your bag, and then after now they're hiding. So you can't find nothing now. So when my mother found something that I shouldn't have had in my bag, you know, she was able to come and sit down and explain, you must come and talk to me. And there was a tablet, I think, for something. And she said, next thing, because it has certain tablets they take, and they could end up dead, and and that is an honest thing. And if it is not able to facilitate that, this thing about, I'm not talking, but they say like with doors, no child in my house must close doors. But when we going through menstruation, I don't want nobody talking to me sometimes or whatever. So if it is this person is a 13-year-old, 14-year-old girl going through menstruation, having PMS, why can't she have the door? That's why I'm trying to say the rules it's so authoritative. I am the adult and this person is the child. And you as the adult, if you are the person's parent or aunt, sometimes with my nephew, I let them know, I say, oh, they give me some time, I myself am going through something. You know when they're going through that time or whatever. And they will understand. So you telling me that the teenager who's going through that, she don't deserve some type of respect
privacy
for what or pride. You understand what I mean, Tye? You feel we just, because we don't have children yet, they don't say we don't have any children yet, we shouldn't be talking, but I am an active aunt, Syntyche is an active auntie godmother, and all of us have our role to play. You understand what I mean? Passionate. Start there.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're speaking to parents right now, so hopefully there's some parents out there. So, I mean, we know parents.
Yet.
But yet.
I don't know about it.
Yet. But we will be one day. And we just know how we felt when we were growing up and our parents, acted out on us sometimes, right? I have a very strict father, and he's real cool now in his old age.
Daddy! Shout out to Daddy!
Strict, like I couldn't wear nail polish.
Really?
I tell him I could not wear nail polish until I was probably four.
For real?
I'm telling you.
But do you used to sneak and do it?
Most definitely. Yeah? But yeah, I used to be like, where's the big deal with nail polish though? But clearly you think feel like we big woman wearing nail polish. Yeah. But everybody else was doing it. So I'm of the firm belief that once you have a relationship, I mean, some parents don't believe in being friends with their children.
Yes.
But being a friend is not really much of a bad thing. Now, have your limits, obviously, but I feel like I would love to be a friend, my child's friend, so that they feel comfortable enough. Now, anybody who know me know I don't play, right? So, my child will be a smart child. But, your child must always feel comfortable to come speak to you. Must always feel comfortable. So I love what your mother is doing. I feel like that's great.
Yeah, she didn't know. I didn't know that she was going through the band. And then, and then I respected her for going. And I think it's how we do things. As you say, it's how we do things, and being able to have things. Because I know you always talk about like when you were small and in terms of like how you look. You understand what I mean?
But I'm bringing that on another episode, so I don't want to talk about it.
Alright, okay, no problem. Okay, sorry. But parents being able to reassure their children. No, it's one of the best things that being able to.
Very important.
That's where it starts at home. So when you feel as if you're not in a safe place with your own parents, and you put up this age gap where I am the parent, this lends into the conversation about human behavior and psychology. So when this has done to us, now when we get the opportunity to be the parent or the adult, we want to be superior You understand? But it's the conversation about superiority.
Yeah.
You are their parent. You are the adult. Even being a teacher or facilitator, it's trying to meet them where they are at. Endowing them with the skills and tools, as opposed to I, as the teacher, you listen. And I guess because of the trauma and the things that we went through as children, now, as you said, with unforgiveness, I have the opportunity to kind of like get back at it. So it's really about, I think we respond to a lot of things based on what we've been through and our experiences. And now as adults, we have to kind of relearn or educate some of our habits now.
So everybody, thank you so much for listening to us.
Yes.
This was the first episode of A Conversation with Tye. If you want to see more, there's a lot more interesting content coming. And I hope you tune in. So bye until next time.
A Conversation with Tye. Bye.
In the woodles, guys. Toodles in the woodles. Do you like this space that I'm in? You see this gorgeous painting behind me? You see this beautiful, deep. What kind of blue is this? Nice. Gorgeous. I don't know. I just love color, as you can see clearly. Right? Right now, I thankfully was given the opportunity to use Cocodali. You don't know what Cocodali is? You don't know where Cocodali is? I will tell you where Cocodali is. Cocodali is in Aranguez or Aranguez. It's in Aranguez, and it's a beautiful Airbnb owned by my beautiful best friend. And I ain't just saying that. Like, I will attach photos at the end for you guys to see this gorgeous space. Like, it's really gorgeous.
Yep.
So when you just need to get away, like quarantine had us all in a zone. But now you can probably try get out, go somewhere, spend some time with family, your boo, alone.
Because we're doing, because a few people book this space for like intimate dinners. And we have like menus, if it's a Creole menu with
Huge yard.
Yeah, we have somebody book for a birthday party, but it's more intimate because especially with quarantine people concerned, so it's more intimate. If you're like a therapist, creative therapist, and you just want a space, a quiet space to have your clients, even like this, so you're doing a vlog. So in the link we'll show you all the things I'm going to use this space for.
And it's a gorgeous space, and again, I just say that you will see.
And it's a Caribbean-based space. All the art is created by our artists. Right now it's Trinidadian artist Kevin Vincent, and you can purchase the art.
Support local.
Yeah, support local. So thanks for the shout out.
If I like my nails and my rings, full of variety.
Yes.
This is my online variety store. So thank you again for listening. We thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Hello.
Bye. God bless you. Stay safe.